Evening. My name is Joni. I'd like to welcome you to Self-Defense. Tonight I'm going to be sharing a few principles and movements that have served me well in my time navigating the world as a neurodivergent person. Neurodivergence refers to variations in the human mind. Variations in terms of sociability, cognitive and behavioral issues, mood, sensory processing, learning styles, things like this. Many people are leaning towards this word neurodivergent and away from the word autistic. But I don't mind what you call me, just so long as you're attentive. You know, they say listening is our primary task these days. Listen. Can you hear her? In the quiet and in between moments. Because we are not in a perfect world yet, she said, we must learn to defend ourselves. I always hear that as our selves with a big capital S, ourselves. Because we're not in a perfect world yet. Good that she used the word yet. The foundations of medicine and transit planning rest on our trust in using and continuing to use that word. I wonder if she sees me that way. The stagnant summer, or the pending yet, the husk of a filbert, not yet become. How can I throw my love in a circle? I always ask that on beaches, in evenings where dirt and the salt water kisses the sand and fantasizes about the rocks it will someday erode, once I am hopefully sand myself, or worse, have returned. A night beach is unsafe for young women, and yet, recently, in an act of self-defense, I walked to the ocean. I divvied up pistachio cake on bone china, opened my mother's hands into natural shapes, and felt her swimming, liminal, lifeful. Oh, I want to shield her from truths about my Nike clients and their bodies, their clearance aisles, and their bad behavior. You, who are beloved, all of you, most welcome guests, have appeared on my night beach So I am relieved. With your companionship, I can defend myself. I want to be where you are, up at the wrought iron railing. Take me there. You know, we imagine balconies, sure, but rarely we touch them. And I want to be in your upstairs. I want to sort your smaller trinkets, press salve into your nail beds, see your home bed. I want to be where you are. I want to be where you are. I want to be where you are. So I can tell you, recently, I met a woman who knew her life's work. Ah, what a relief. A vital feeling. A must. Top 10 feelings to feel, I'd say. Oh, I want to be where you are. But then people say I'm too obsessive. Why is that? Because I want to run my cursor over your activities. To know you. To search about you. You who left at first cliff. You who shouted names at stars. You who committed as caretaker. You gotta take it. You don't think of that as a commitment? Let's commit. Let me split aloe on your behalf. And in being half, let me assume you want to be the other half. But I just found out about the group text. Everyone's in it. But not me. But everyone. Oh, I shouldn't have. Look, if you found a frantic yellow lab in the foyer of a supermarket, you wouldn't abandon it. You would assist its becoming. As an autistic artist, I've asked many strangers to assist my becoming. On days when I had a seizure or a meltdown, which is another word for a horrific tantrum, I saw how you stepped in. And knowing that we move under one atmosphere, I will name your kindness self-defense. How else are we to respond to imminent violence? On which days of the week should we nourish another? On which days of the week should we nourish ourselves? What's your first thought when you look at this? What's your instinct? It looks like a shock collar, right? Mm-hmm. But What if I covered that in floral language, in poetry? Or what if I covered it in medical terminology? Or if I told you devices like this one are still used today, in 2019, to correct autistic people? That would be unbearable, right? Once you know, you're complicit. And it is happening today. At an institution in Massachusetts for adults and children with disabilities. It's called the Judge Rotenberg Center, or the JRC. The JRC tortures patients using a device like this one. It's called a gradual electronic decelerator, or a GED. It's so fancy, right? They use the GED as an aversive. They use the pain of electric shock to punish people for doing certain things. Staff of the JRC have shocked patients for things like standing up without permission, not taking off their coat, and even for screaming in pain while being shocked. And for simple things, like shuffling. Some autistic people engage with repetitive movement as a form of self-soothing. In popular culture, you might have seen this as hand flapping, or on TV, sometimes looks like this. There's a motion I've seen people use to emphasize the word retard. They go like this. That comes from autistic repetitive movement. I'd like to share with you a repetitive movement that comes from my heritage. It's taken from traditional Irish step dance. I find it quite nourishing, and I do it when I feel especially safe, or when I want to feel safe. It goes like this. And so on. You can simplify this step down to its core movement, which is a subtle weight transference. Simply front, middle, back, front, middle, back, front, middle, back. If you believe autism is physical, then I invite you to try this simplified shuffle with me now. Please, if you're willing and able, you can just do it in place. Just see if it feels nourishing, see if it feels strange. Let's give it a quick go together. Middle back, middle back. If you believe autism is mental, then I invite you to help me call on Ari. Ari is a 13-year-old boy imprisoned today at the JRC. Remember, he's not there for a crime, just for a chance, a roll of the dice, the way his mind moves. He's not doing time for breaking a societal agreement, other than one that has something to do with normalcy. It's never quite been fully explained to me. On a rare day, when the press was allowed to visit the JRC, they witnessed Ari being shocked 33 times in one day for shuffling too loudly. If you believe autism is spiritual, then I invite you to help me call on Ari with gold threads. Maybe we can send him a note. Use your free body and your freedom. Look at this place. And let's try that shuffle again just one more time together. Or maybe this time a bit louder. In 2013, the United Nations described electric shock treatment as torture. In 2014, the Food and Drug Administration said GEDs should be banned. But this has never been enforced. I can give you an action, if you would like one. There are certainly people you can write to. But I wonder if we might think instead more deeply about how we name an other and what we do with them once we have that word. How we label being ill versus being alive here on this atrocious planet. Now that is a problem. A physical, mental, spiritual problem. Who wouldn't want to label it? If you're tasked with listening to an autistic child, or perhaps a friend, you might be inclined to protect them by telling them to be normal. And I understand that. Okay. Okay. Okie dokie. But the greatest joy I have known has been frolicking on the inside. And I call that self-defense. She said, one of the character traits we'll need to defend ourselves is forgiveness. But in diagramming sentences and cities, I have seen very little evidence of forgiveness. In fact, I've been proud of my own steadfastness before. I've even bragged about it. Why forgive? The alternative is a forever feeling. Permanence. Comfort. And I want to be known for sticking to my guns. I would never want to shoot and miss. But then I saw an update of her grin, and I was ashamed. It doesn't carry her original sweetness. So tell me, if I never saw an example of forgiveness, do I still have to do it? Help me make an offering to the comic creator who formed us, so I can ask. And I'll ask about the rips in our firmament at our various entrances. We can stand together after the break-in. Defend me. Defend me. Defend me. Defend me. Because even activists and surgeons meet gruesome ends on the freeway. It happens all the time. Acting out, helping or harming, or evil in a day. Twin, halves, complicit, in tandem with madness, and at the bottom of our river, with old shopping carts, voted most likely to ensnare. I could name her original sweetness. Maybe then we could walk, spine first, on a night beach. I parrot these wishes frequently, that she'll return in time to nourish. Nothing would bring me more pleasure. Okay then. Furious cowgirl, roiling Beethoven, stand beside us in our shifting helixes. When we cry, we can't bear this, say we can. Say that now and again in the new now we've just made. I know you can. I have seen you. Once a thigh-shaped lagoon, once a perfectly ripened orchard, and others you curl in the water, 4x6 smiling family. You, sweet system of measure. You, the name of inches. You, the inches themselves. Dark, perfect you. Bells, both ringing and silenced, small stone in the mouth. We designed you this evening. Breathing, shuffling. Well, in each tiny rivulet, a new oxygen. So let's just see. Maybe let's name it a performance art festival. Then see. And see if, in forgiveness, the surges from our hammocked synapses nearly shut down power for half the district. Just see if our inner ears can sing the harmonics. Maybe an infinite melody. In this abundance, I swear I feel the sheen of a flank, the wet fold of my own skin, spelling out songs, feeling ritually wedded. I trust you this way. today and every day. And in return, if you sit there, wishing you too could yell whatever you want, know that I walked here through vistas, grand landscapes. I skipped cliffs. I skipped night beaches so I could come tell you. You can. You can. You can. Do I miss my home? Do I think about going back all the time? Of course I do. Obviously, I love you. Knowing that, can you forgive me? Can you forgive me my weird, my shuffle, that at times I can't or won't adapt? Troubles, some cognitive, some behavioral aggression. Can you forgive me? Well, I forgive you. I forgive you. I forgive you. In the company of strangers, I was given a warm wooden bowl, so large it could only be held with both hands, like an offering.